Hi everyone. Today is December the 9th. It is a Monday, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report, brought to you by the Benzinga Pro platform. Okay, so last week, Friday, I totally forgot about doing SPY, so here we go. SPY and Qs, so we'll start there. As usual, on Mondays, we do a weekly look. We are sitting at the half back of the expansion range of this consolidation. It is a minor consolidation, but it does match this consolidation below. And so we are still on track, looking at about the same kinds of dimensions. It is still a buy the dip formation. And as we can see, we are well outside the range. Pullbacks into last week's low, which looks like about 602.30 or thereabouts, would make a nice buy zone, but the bottom of the box is just shy of 600, and that is the breakaway formation. All right, so dips or buys, everything looks bullish. Momentum is still in good shape. We're all set there. Let's take a look at the 1 hour very quickly. What we can see is that we've been relatively sideways for a couple of days. Where's that 602 area? Well, looks like, look at what we're doing. We are underneath Friday's VWAP, but still sitting in this channel. So I'm going to expand the channel somewhat and see that we are at the base of a buying formation. So dips here should take us to the top of the value area high, 609. What happens to look for short price action? What we would have to see is a failure into 606, a bounce that cannot recover 607, and then a continuation below. My thought is fades are going to give us other opportunities to buy. You just have to be careful if you're trying to buy a dip and a real break has started. You can see momentum is sitting very sideways, so I believe buy the dip, sell the top of the base to collect profit, not necessarily to go short. You can go short. You just want to be very careful and not add on the way up. The trend is in your favor if you add on the way down. It is not in your favor if you add to a short on the way up. Let's take a look at the Qs. Let's go to the weekly. A little bit more than the halfway up the third extension, but very bullish, right? If we were to build a channel here, everything says buy the dip, folks. Do not try to step in front of a short unless, one, you're accomplished at shorting, and two, you can trust yourself not to do something dumb. Okay? So be very careful. Whoops! What happened? I don't even know what just happened right there. Let's collapse this drawing set. Move this back up. All right, so dips or buy zones. The base of last week showed a breakaway formation, and so top of the box 535. Wow, who'd have thought? Not me for sure. 535, and then if we do it one more time, not to clone the channel, we want to clone the rectangle. It puts us up to 550. Big fat round number. I don't know, maybe it'll run there into the end of the year. I have no idea. But wait for the dip. Don't buy the breakout. Okay? Don't do it. Let's go down into the hourly. Sideways formation, sitting at Friday's VWAP and holding. So potentially waiting for a little bit of news. We do have a little bit of minor divergence here, but again, it is a dip buying formation. Let's draw a channel. That seems to keep us in the throes of what might be going on. You can see we're near the base of the channel, much like the SPY. All right. If we lose 524, wait for it to come back into a proper space, either recapturing 524 or coming down into the value area high near 521, which makes it a more reasonable buying formation. Let's go to the ES. Sorry, SPY folks. I apologize for missing that on Friday. Okay, here we are. A lot of people calling some very big numbers into the end of the year. we've got two Fibonacci's. I'm going to remove them all at this juncture. I want to do nothing but see what's going on. See the sharp rise here. A lot of buying still in play. Volume a little bit lighter, somewhat concerning. At the halfway point of the third extension as we see it, and that's 60.91, the top of the range, 61.50, and the bottom of the range that shows us a fair number of buyers that might come in is around 60.30. I liked that area last week as a particular buy zone. Dips are buys. Do not buy the breakout until it is retested or confirmed on tighter time frames. Here's what we've got in an hourly formation, very sideways, sitting inside of the value area, high and low. The boxes here look a little different, so I'm going to remove this box. I don't know why it won't let me. Remove. And I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to suggest that the entire area that we've been running in for, now it's 3 days, counting the pre-market, is this area right here with the midline at 60.90 and the base at 60.75. Dips, clear buy zones. Breakouts, clear rejection areas, but doesn't mean that it won't break out, because the overall trend is still very bullish. And so this tells us, hey, if I've got a trend that's bullish, buy the dips are what I'm going to see. And once we open up a wider time frame, we can see that that is still, it's still holding, right? We've got a very tight range, but then we've got this one, and what do you know? It's at the bottom of the box, thereabouts, right? We've got negative divergence. I say deeper dips will be buys, and we're going to have a cross current. So you could easily short up there. You just don't want to add to that short until it's given you a good formation that says you've got the go-ahead. Let's take a look at the NQ. Weekly formations. Fading a little bit off of a big rise now on Friday. Everyone that listens to me knows that I use Mentor Q Pro to help me with the levels of options that are moving the market. And so highly recommend them. And of course, as you know, I love the folks at Edgeful also, who give us statistics to run on the day. Here in the NQ, we had a number at around 706 that was a gamma line, and we tested it, looks like early this morning, maybe about the opening of London. The top of this box is 891. I imagine these guys are going to try and get it to 22,000, but pullbacks are buy zones, and the pullbacks, as you know, in the Qs can be fairly savage. Now, what we're going to do is eliminate these edges only because they are very extreme. All right? Very, very extreme. And here's what we're seeing. Pullbacks, buy zones. So the pullback into 21,300 would be an ideal bounce zone. But it could be that Friday's VWAP at 415 or even the low of 586 this morning gives us what we are looking for. All right, let's look at the hourly. What we're seeing is a sideways patch. I'm going to remove these little rectangles because they are no longer in play. Oh, for goodness sakes. All right, let's think about a new one. Actually, you know, what if I cloned this one and then moved it up? Gives us about, I'm going to, what if, aha, same size, different expansion. That is very interesting. Okay, so now what we're looking at is this range. The halfback is this line about 565. That is likely a key buy point, but the VWAP is down here at 506, as well as the VWAP close of Thursday. All right, so dips or buys. Let's draw this wonky looking channel here. Dips or buys, a lot of folks saying, hey, tech is back. I don't know that it's that simple. I just think it's a standard rotation in and out. Mechanics have gotten a lot faster with algorithms, and this just might be a little bit of a move. However, take a look. See this dip all the way down here? And the higher low showing almost the same level of dip here. It could turn into a higher low, but right now it's still telling us buy the dip. Where are things going to break down if we lose 565? We head to maybe 422. Right now we're stuck in a range, and so range expansion still gives us that 891 up ahead, but that 708 we're very likely to see again in the live market. So it might be a double topping formation right there for us. Okay, YM. Very tight formations, right? If we're taking a stare down at this, we're looking at 44,659, and then the breakout area is 45,200. Don't buy the breakouts. And then last week's VWAP close, or week before last VWAP's close, is 43,946. All right, let's go to the hourly and see what's going on. This one's been doing really well overall. It did have a little bit of a dip. It felt like profit taking. And so look at this box. This is where I go, hey, listen, if it comes down here, let it collapse, and when it retests and holds, then you try it, but you still know this is the risk. Okay? So, what are we doing? Let's replicate this rectangle. Half back, that's 44,659. Wow, isn't that interesting? So, the test of 44,804 looks to be a pretty good shot at where this is headed. Let's take a peek at this trend line. Looks like it's matching it, and it is Friday's VWAP, and it is value area low. My thought is the dip that comes at 44,659, since we are above the hole and it's taking slope, plus this is upside, should give us a fade back here. A statistically significant long could be here with a very tight stop. Okay, with about 25 ticks of stop, and easily 44,820 to 44,938. Okay, let's take a look at oil. Whoa. What? All right, let's remove that, and let's go to the weeklies. Still sideways, breaking this channel. This is very messy. Plus, if you've lived under a rock, you don't know that Assad is now safely with the oligarchs in Moscow as Syria falls to rebels. Side note, Jesus is coming soon. Yeah, they've been saying it a long time, but yeah. Okay, so here we go. Sideways pressure here. Looks pretty good for a short at any bounce, but even with the unrest in Syria and the like, can't seem to hold these levels. And this is really a WTI story essentially, but it does move over the entire oil complex, and that could bring us at the, yeah, it could bring us easily into 62 and then potentially 57. What do we want to see? A bounce that fails the 70-ish area, 72 area. If we have a bounce that fails that zone, it's going to give us another short, and the trend formation will continue down. Now notice this, we're very near bounce zones, but the bounce zones look very similar if we're looking at momentum. And so bounces, Gonna get the sells. Do not short the low. That's all I'm telling you. Don't short the low. You can see wicks all over the place. Very bad idea to do that. If we go to the hourly, you can see again how bad shorting the low is unless you're out in a snap. All right? Very sideways formations. And the chart here, which I cannot move, this box, it's coming right back into the value area. It could easily get to the top of the value area, right? Easily it could get to the top of the value area. My thought is oil is very erratic right now. We just need to be very careful with it. Top edge, 72, bottom edge, 66 and some change. And be careful adding to any longs if it loses that area. It's not going to be pretty. All right. Lastly, gold. Oh, look, gold. Stuck in a box. Who'd have thunk it? Yes. Gold is a little bit sideways with Bitcoin doing its thing, and I will run Bitcoin right after this. Very sideways pocket. Dips. 2560 still make a long. These are inside candlesticks formations. We do have negative pressure under a bullish backdrop. That gives us sideways candlesticks more often than not. So you want to try and buy the very deepest dip with a tighter stop, or sell a very big bounce into the midpoint and then below. Looking at the hourly formation, yeah, it's telling you the same thing. Look at how tight the value area is, right? And the value area is simply a place where everybody's conducting business, right? I either think it's good to sell or it's good to buy. Once I get out of the ranges, everybody goes, okay, that's too expensive. And then everybody down here goes, okay, that's too cheap. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the that's too cheap, I'm going to buy it, or that's too expensive, I'm going to sell it. And if you play around in here, you know, you're going to get chopped up, right? It's going to be ninja blender action. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin hit 105-ish or something and faded, and now it is sitting right underneath the breakaway number of 100,000, right? So it's right underneath this noise. My suspicion is, of course, that 98 to 97.50, once it recovers above there, makes for a good buy. The problem is sellers have started to come in. Notice what happened to the buying formation. It blew out very high here, and now all the buying pressure has faded. So as we take a look at this chart, we can see that there are buyers below, but the sellers above, they're doing something. And you can see that a lot of them used 103 to 105 as a big target zone for them, right? Very big target zone. And now we are sitting underneath the hull, underneath a downward sloping VWAP, but strolling around that 98,000. My number was 97.50, right? I still love those 500 spots, and they've got about $200 of squish on either side. I still like it very much for areas. It's got to get above Friday's closing VWAP at maybe 100,000 and hold above there for bullish action to continue. Otherwise, it's going to be a selling formation. Now here, you can tell it's very low, so it's going to start a rise here. I still believe this is sitting in a buying formation. I do. I still believe it's sitting in a buying formation. It's just sitting in a space now where there's a little bit of competition in general. All right. That's it for me, folks. I'll see you on the streams. Midday Moneyball. I have fixed, well, tech support, fixed my Thinkorswim issue, and we are back on track. So I'll see you for the Midday Moneyball report on the Benzinga Pro platform. Take care, everyone.